Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Ian here, and I am in Beijing. I'm out walking around Chaoyang Park, which is a beautiful park. It's a lovely day. It's a bit autumnal because the leaves are falling now, but it still feels a little bit like a Scottish summer to me. This park is an amazing park, and I think spaces like this add to the quality of life here in China, and that quality of life has helped contribute to the increasing life expectancy rate here in China. Let me explain. Right, so first up, I do not want anyone to die. I want to live myself a long and fruitful life, and I want you and everyone else to live a long and an amazing life. If you're feeling at all that you do not want to continue your life, then please seek help. As a guy, I know how hard it is to seek help because our macho pride gets in the way, but trust me, it is well worth it. When I was going through divorce, it was hell. I needed help, I got help, and I am so glad that I did that because my life now is fantastic. Love it. So please always seek help. Talk to someone if you're at all feeling like life is not worth it. So getting back to the title of the thumbnail about dying here, a life and death here in China, and some thoughts on that. Okay, so I do not want to die in China, and I don't want to die, period. Actually, I think death would kind of be pretty final, but then I'm not sure what happens after you die. So in fact, I don't think anybody can be sure, so I always keep an open mind to that concept of life after death and blah blah blah. However, the chances of me dying in China are pretty low. Life expectancy here in China has steadily risen, and it now stands at 78.2 years, I believe. And in the US, life expectancy, believe it or not, has actually declined. It's now at 77.2 years, and it's been declining over the last few years from a high in 2019 of 79.1. All this is there if you want to check it. In the UK, life expectancy is higher, 80.7, also declining, but I think the UK has a great welfare state system, and that helps people look after themselves. I think that's a big factor, although that support system that's there in the UK is coming under attack from a lot of politicians. In Glasgow, in my hometown, life expectancy, believe it or not, is 71.6 years, which is shocking. I figured that maybe is down to diet, lifestyle, and also we have an over-dependency and overuse of alcohol in Glasgow. I hope Glasgow, Scotland can figure that out, because I'd like people to live longer. In fact, the whole of Scotland, incidentally, is also okay for life expectancy. It's in line with the UK. Just Glasgow seems to be a little bit hard living. So diet, what we eat, is one big contributing factor in life expectancy. And we know this because in European countries where less processed foods is consumed, more fresh food is consumed and eaten, and people live longer. We know this Spain and France, for instance, have a life expectancy of 83 years, I think it is. Here in China, I eat a lot of fresh food now. Food in here is often cooked from scratch using ingredients. Eating an ice cream's not ideal when you're doing this, but food here is often cooked from scratch using fresh ingredients, and it's less processed. And there is plenty of food to be had here. The cost of food is relatively cheap, and cooking using ingredients to make good, wholesome, home-cooked food is all part of the lifestyle here. and I'm sure that's helped people live longer. And I do notice that in European countries, countries that appreciate food, not a little bit like maybe where I am now. I used to just look at food as fuel, but I very much appreciate it. And like here in European countries, here in China, people really appreciate food. Being distracted by this and also this. But yeah, food is a big factor, and there's a lot of food here in China for people to consume, fresh or otherwise. Yeah. So I got rid of the ice cream there, which I'm kind of glad of because it was getting messy. Anyway, the other reason for life expectancy growing in China is the safety aspect. I have said this many a time, and I will continue to say this. China is unbelievably safe. It is so safe, I can leave my belongings and come back to them and they will still be there, right where I left them. And I also never feel threatened at any time. And as for gun crime, it's non-existent here in China. And for comparison, the US gun crime rate is about 10.6 per 100,000 people. In the UK, it's very, very low. It's at 0.3 per 100,000 people. And that happens when you have a shooting, Dunblane in Scotland as an example, and then you limit access to guns. China, where guns are illegal, the gun crime rate is about 0.2 per 100,000 people. As for the overall crime rate, the US is ranked at 55 on the World View Crime Rate Index. There's links to this stuff at the bottom. The UK is ranked at 63, and China is ranked at 106, I think. Yes, 106. So when I tell you China is super safe and describe how and why it feels that way, and you kind of see me experiencing China and walking around, and then the wee noisy haters that pop up on the comments below and say China isn't safe, then I say check out the statistics for yourself. Have a look, see for yourself. But then I'm guessing that you won't do that because you won't like what you see. I do love how you can come to a park in a city of 22, 23 million people and you can almost feel like you're in the countryside alone. It's just amazing. I love the peacefulness, and I needed that because it's been busy. I'm going to be very, very busy over the next few weeks. So peacefulness for me at the moment. But I want to talk about something else on the same theme of life expectancy, and this is where I do feel a little bit threatened living here in China. Now, where I do feel threatened these days is the threat of a world war. Some people do work hard to reassure me, reassure us all that this will never be the case because there is so much at stake. And I hope people are right, I really do, because I cannot think of anything worse than a war, and a world war at that. And yeah, that's a horrible thought. Now here's a thought for you. The next time you're out walking somewhere like this, somewhere beautiful, just stop and look around. Take in all that beauty that surrounds you, whether you're in a city, no matter where you are, city, countryside. Stop and look around and imagine that whole thing being destroyed. For me, that is a horrific thought, a terrible image in my head going off there. And that is the one thing that I think people don't really fully understand when they are pushing for some form of conflict. I don't think they can fully comprehend the idea of war, or the horribleness of war, because we have been sanitized to the absolute hell of the concept of war. We've been sanitized to that because we've been fed a whole lot of movies that soften the hell of war to us and for us. I know that there are and will be great movies that get the balance right between entertainment and reality, but I still think people are so far detached from the whole concept. In particular, developed countries, they're really detached, I think, from the idea of war because they think that it will never happen to them. If you take the movie Saving Private Ryan as an example, Saving Private Ryan, if I say it correctly, I honestly think most people visualise themselves as the Tom Hanks character in that movie. You know, getting to the end of the movie, living a nice life. The actual reality is that you're likely to be the guy with his legs blown off, slowly bleeding out on the beach in a far off land. That's the actual reality. And the other thing, much of the developed world has watched war sanitised through television and see it as something that happens somewhere else. And I'm afraid the next big war is not going to be like that. The next big one is going to land right at your doorstep of the big American cities, European cities, Asian cities, and that doesn't even bear thinking about for me. So let's get back to the title of the thumbnail. I do not want to die in China because of some idiot politician and some think tanks that want to cause conflict, global war. The truth is, I would actually be one of the lucky ones here in China, because I'm a foreigner. I'd be shipped out or possibly imprisoned, probably shipped back to my country, Glasgow. And the irony is that if I was back in Glasgow, I would be 30 miles from the UK's base for the nuclear submarines. So Glasgow is actually a top target for any nuclear attack. But my ability to be shipped away from any risk, like a Scottish Sean Penn, is not the point really. The point is we shouldn't let it get to that. We should be working together to tell our leaders, our politicians, the idiots in charge, we should be saying no more war, no more. So I do not want to die in China. I want to die back in an independent Scotland at the right old age of, I don't know, maybe 90 years old. But I know for a fact that I want to take my last breath and look out at a beautiful world full of happy, prosperous people and say, damn, the world is a beautiful thing and we did a good job to keep it that way. This is me, Ian, here in Beijing, wishing you all the best. Take care of yourself, your family, your community, and above all, peace out. Catch you in the next video.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine, just